is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
How about them Cowboys?
Go! Go! Dallas Cowboys! It's the go team of the senior pros. Let the whole world hear our bugles blow. Stand up! Stampede! Go you Dallas
Probably a military band.
Yeah, maybe so.
played that
That's
song,
right.
yeah.
And I think it's also, I love I never referenced this before, even thought of it, but hear our bugle blow.
I was just thinking it, yeah.
And that is like,
Strong.
Yeah, especially when Tommy Loy and even today, there's a trumpet that plays the national anthem.
That's
and
right. Freddie.
Yeah, and so that was a little foreshadowing, maybe. I don't think Tommy Loy was doing the national anthem at the time that the bugle was blowing on the fight song in the '60s. But here we are, ready to get into a Thanksgiving Day win like 4 days later. I walked in the SWBC podcast studio this morning and I told Everson, I don't even remember what happened in the game on Thursday. We're going to have to review it just to remind ourselves exactly what happened.
I had to search to see who we were playing, not just what happened. But
I got here early to remind myself what I wrote.
There's a lot of water under the bridge since Thursday, and one of the droplets of water that happened in the meantime. Why Mickey is wearing his Mizzou gear today is Mizzou won in the snow over Arkansas.
If I have to watch one more game in the snow between last night and
what do you mean if you
Saturday?
have to? I love watching games in the snow.
I'm with you, Spag.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's too much. It's
Right?
too much. Yeah.
It just ruins the game.
I'll take the cold and the wind before I take.
Well, especially last night's game
yeah.
because it just changed the whole way they played the game last night.
Yes.
I mean, there was such an advantage if you had already built up speed coming out of the backfield. It was like those little, whether it's a running back or a tight end in motion, just roll Josh Allen out to the right and hit him on the run, and the defense had no chance on those little flare passes.
I don't like this with Buffalo. I just don't. It's not fair to the rest of the NFL. You know, the elements being such a factor in the game, you know, like you said, it changes the entire way that you play football.
I would like to take a roll call of how many Buffalo players actually played ever in that much snow before.
Well, last year.
Once.
Yeah, but damn, it's a lot.
Nah.
And it seems to be a recurring thing at the end of every season. We got to worry about how the fans going to get to the game. How you going to sweep off the field? Come on, man. It's a lot.
They didn't clear off the seats, though. You had to go sit in the
saw
snow.
That, right?
They're in the process of clearing off the seats. They've got a new stadium that's being built there. And it's,
without a roof.
But the seats are going to be covered, though, apparently.
Wait. Still without a roof? Are you just joking?
Yeah, no roof.
I think they said, though, there's like a canopy
They're going to do
will be
maybe
over
like Texas Stadium, sort of.
Where the seats are covered, like so the wind, the snow never blows
right, yeah.
into the seats.
You heard of drifts before?
That's just what I had in my head.
And especially with lake effect winds, it like snow will flutter too and be blown into the.
You kind of wonder which lake was affecting it, right? Get too many lakes.
But so much to get to, and so where do we start before we are on to Cincinnati?
So
we're on to Cincinnati.
We're on to Cincinnati. I mean,
Good job, Chris.
I mean, the highlights the highlights of the game, obviously, with the Cowboys able to run the ball effectively. Rico, a career high 112 yards rushing, average
Nice. Bravo,
5.1
Rico.
a carry. I believe he was my pick to click, by the way.
My man, I'll give it to you, baby. Good job.
Who was yours?
I was Ogie Odigizua, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Odigizua.
Mine was Trey Lance. He was going to come off the bench
Yeah,
on the 50-year anniversary.
That's right.
Thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I said he rushed for a touchdown. It was his first rushing touchdown of the season.
Wow.
And only the Cowboys' fourth. The other three, 2 for Zeke, and I imagine they were 1 or 2 yard runs,
Yeah.
right? And Dak had another. That was it.
Really?
They
Dak
went
had
into
one?
the game with 3 rushing touchdowns.
And Zeke's was in the first game of the season against Cleveland.
Yeah.
How are we still in the hunt?
Well,
amazing.
are we? Somewhat. Somewhat.
Hey,
You know what, though?
I just-
Yesterday, to your point, I think it was CBS.
yes.
The network of record, they put up the graphic that showed the NFC playoff picture,
Yes.
and they had in the hunt, which included Dallas at 5-7,
I'm
and
telling
they
you, I
had San
saw it.
Francisco
I
at
saw
5-6.
I saw it.
NBC last night, they had the exact same graphic, and they didn't have Dallas in the hunt.
They didn't have in the hunt. They had,
No, they had a column in the hunt.
They did.
yes.
But
And we're right at the
it
bottom.
stopped at San Francisco at 5-6. They were on their way to 5-7.
Right, right.
So now Dallas and San Francisco are both 5-7.
So
But Dallas's arrow is going up and San Francisco's is going down, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should say
The
that.
Niners have lost 3 in a row now, and they
and
lost
their
McCaffrey.
running back.
He's out. He's out again.
He's PCL this time. So
I was worried that he.
that gets back to your whole running back, paying the running back.
Yeah.
It works if Barkley's healthy. If Barkley's not healthy, if McCaffrey's not healthy, then it doesn't work so much.
When you see a guy go down like that without even getting hit, I was thinking, oh, now he tore his Achilles tendon because he just gave up, slid in the snow.
Yeah.
Of course, you could apply that to the quarterback position too, on keeping them healthy when you're paying all that money.
That's
As we
true.
know here,
We know
and
from
then
this.
Trevor Lawrence yesterday, which is brutal.
Boy, was that just awful.
The
Just
guy
awful.
apologized.
Yeah, good. That doesn't make the concussion go away. That's like who's apologizing at Ohio State and Michigan.
And North Carolina State.
Yeah, with that stuff.
And Arizona State.
If you're going to plant your flag, you have to wait until the other team has left the field.
Let them go, right?
Baker Mayfield at least had the sense to wait until the field had been cleared.
How
to
about we
plant the
just
flag.
leave all flags off the field? Okay, you got 3 fights yesterday. North Carolina State, Arizona State, and then Ohio State, Michigan.
Or do what Sarkisian did
What's that?
when Texas was starting to gather on the logo into the locker room.
Right.
Sent them away.
Right.
You want to go sing your song, go to the end zone.
You got all these people holding on to a trident.
Yeah.
You saw that one. Hey, give it to me. No, you give it to me. They look like they were ready to dance or something. I don't know.
Just
Okay,
go.
now back to Thursday.
Yes, now back to Thursday. No one staked a flag in midfield, right? But yeah, and then I think the other thing that stood out to me was obviously Overshown, right? But it wasn't just that game. I went back and looked since Micah Parsons returned, so it's 4 games now. Overshown has totaled 29 tackles, 3 sacks, 10 quarterback pressures, a pass broken up, interception for a touchdown. When's the last time you've seen one of those,
Yeah.
by the way?
And it wasn't Deron Bland.
The ability of teams to have to worry about Micah, I think, has helped Overshown either on the other side or coming in behind him when they're double teaming and triple teaming. And Micah, if you guys went back and looked some of the pass rush situations. So the defense, and once again, saved the last possession. They gave up a touchdown, actually played awfully well in that game, and now can they sustain it going forward, because Cincinnati has been putting up a bunch of points. So those couple things really stood out to me, that and the importance of having Brandon Cooks on the field. I think we've seen him score a touchdown on that exact same pattern,
Yes.
only the ball came from Dak, and then makes the diving catch on third down to get the first
That was
down,
the play of the game
and
for
now
us.
you can
Play of the game for
kneel
us.
out the clock.
Yeah.
So those were the things that stood out to me.
How about for you, Everson, the former Cowboy and former Giant?
You know, I love the win, and you know, I guess you could say we put it into perspective in some way. But what I keep seeing from us, even in these wins, are the inconsistencies from our mistake standpoint. Too many mistakes in the game. Still, we made the game really closer than it should have been, and it messed up my picks to click, so I'm really pissed off about that because I was really on a roll at that point. It was going to be 27-20.
Well, by the way, third quarter, I had the score, 27-10.
What was your score?
27-20.
That was the score.
No. It was 20. What was my score? I think it was 20.
7-17, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I was right there.
I think it was
right there.
27-17.
I was right there, yeah. And so, but what I see is just still too many mistakes, too many penalties. I see defensively where we overcome our mistakes with a lot of good hustle. But if we would just be where we're supposed to be in some of these situations and stop compounding our problems with penalties, and that is going to be something that will follow us for the rest of this year. I don't know why we're so undisciplined as a team in that regard. There's one thing if you talk about holding, I get that. That comes within the moment of the battle. But when you're talking about false starts, you're talking about illegal formations, things of that nature that have nothing to do with your ability to play football. That's just your ability to be smart and poised in the right situations. And we need that so we can stop shooting ourselves in the foot and making the hill that we're climbing even steeper. Just doesn't make any sense to me. That's what I took away from it. A team that's stopping their own selves from being good.
I hate the fact it comes down to a 3rd and 2 diving catch by Brandon Cooks to seal the day
just over this team.
2-9 team.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Well, and to emphasize what you said, the first half, they go field goal, right? Mm-hmm. And it was it was a 23-yard field goal, so you're inside the 10, right? Field goal again, 33-yard field goal, so you're inside the 20.
So you're 0 for 2 in the red zone.
0 for 2 already in the red zone.
Against this team.
And then you go turn the ball over on downs, going for it on 4th down, and then you punt. So they get off to such a questionable start.
On that last one, it was the CD drop on 3rd and 1.
Right, they had
that was wow.
Yeah.
You know,
that was an example. That was an example of how one play can change the complexion of the entire rest of the half of that football game. I mean, it was midway of the second quarter when that happened. And to your point, Mickey, they had not done in the red zone what they needed to do. They had to settle for field goals. If not for the overshown pick six, even with the overshown pick six, you're up 13-7.
Yeah.
Right.
But your defense gets a sack on third down. Basically, it was a 4-and-out for the Giants. Now you're starting to cook on offense. Okay, you got a 22-yarder to CD. You were back at your own end of the field, 22-yarder to CD. And then you get to a 3rd and 1 at the 44-yard line. And CD is so wide open and has so much room to run. He was going to take it down inside the 30-yard line probably.
That's what he thought, too.
Right, and then forgot one thing.
He forgot something.
And then you get stuffed on their 4th and 1. Now basically the whole rest of the half you're spent spinning your wheels. And so you're at halftime. What was the score? It was still 13-10. 13-10 at halftime. Yeah. You could have put them away there in the second quarter.
And, I get it. Even when we look at teams that don't play well, they also have moments to where they had this cross in the road. You know what I mean? To where if they would have made this play, it would have been closer. If they would have made this play, they could have won the game. Even teams like the Giants have a chance with that narrative. But when it comes to the Cowboys themselves, we can't let that narrative be spoken against us. If we want to be that team that's going to be climbing forward, because you don't see the Eagles hanging their win on, whoa, this was the turning point in the game. No, the turning point in the game, it was many times because they controlled the turning points in the game. We don't control our turning point. We sit here and it's almost like we leave it up to chance. We put ourselves in a bad position, The next thing you know, we're like, I'm sure glad we made that play. Because if we didn't make it, then we'd be in trouble. Well, that's too much.
The turning point for them last night was the run by Barkley, right? Because neither guy was, and Romo kept saying it, right? This game's going to turn on one of these guys is going to get a big run,
right.
And Barkley got it.
Well, to me,
Tucker missed 2 field goals and an extra point.
Man, we'll get to that later. But
that was a turn. That's 5. That's what 6-7 points.
While looking at that game, not even being an Eagles fan, it was predictable because that's how they play. And I don't care who they're playing against. As Lamar Jackson was getting back there doing some amazing things, improvising his ass off. But when it came down to it, you just knew that Philly's defense was going to be the ones to win the day. And that's the way they've been playing for the last 8 games. It's consistency there. I was never worried when they come out slow because that's what they do. And when it's all said and done, the pressure gets so intense to where the pipe finally bursts. It happens every week for the last 8 weeks.
All right, we're just getting started on a Cyber Monday edition of Mick Shots. And we got an extra day.
It must be Black Monday, right?
You're
almost there.
First time all year I haven't worn my black. And we got an extra day this week.
Yes.
To prepare for Cincinnati. And so we got much more to get to about your Thanksgiving weekend when Mick Shots continues in a moment.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel? Attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls. With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Back to Mick Shots.
Damn, I don't even have any reason.
Come out to the Star in Frisco, and you can see Santa Claus. He's already made a couple of appearances so far at the Star in Frisco. It's located in Tostitos Championship Plaza.
Every Friday.
All the way up until
The
Christmas.
most electrifying event of the holiday season is here. Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant, is back at the Star in Frisco. Join us every Friday and Saturday night over November 22nd through December 21st for a spectacular holiday show with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, Rhythm and Blue, Roddy, Santa Claus, and surprise tree lighting appearances from your favorite Cowboys heroes. Best of all, the show is free. For details, visit, one word, thestardistrict.com. Don't miss out on holiday magic. Whew.
And you know what?
Can I see that? There's a Rhythm and Blues Santa there?
Rhythm and Blue.
All right. I love it. Yes, ma'am.
And I could vouch that this place was overrun with people on Friday night.
Really?
Unbelievable. Now, there was a game here.
Yeah.
I came to watch
High school?
Highland Park versus Reedy.
Who won?
Highland Park did. But the people weren't here for that. They were here for Santa Claus because they were lined up outside around the area where you had to stand. And I guess I didn't see it, but the cheerleaders come out and perform and whatever. They walk through the middle, right? This place was overrun
And it was still cold,
and
too, right?
it was still cold.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So just know that it's a very popular event.
And by the way, this Friday night, Highland Park is back for another encore performance against Frisco Lone Star. So there's your...
But I think I'm going to be interested in Argyle Southlake.
No, Argyle's playing Lovejoy.
Lovejoy. I mean,
Yeah,
I was thinking former Southlake coach.
Todd Dodge is the head coach at Lovejoy.
Really?
And, and they're taking on Argyle, which has been motoring through. That's a Class 5A, and they're at Prosper. Have you ever been to Prosper Stadium?
I'm going.
Unbelievable.
Better than McKinney?
Or Allen. Allen is probably the Taj Mahal.
I thought McKinney was.
McKinney's a very nice stadium,
yeah.
but I haven't been in the Prosper Stadium, but I've driven by it, and it is a monster.
I think
It's
I'm going to go if the weather is
Now they all have those big screen now, right? That's the norm.
Of course.
That's the norm.
weather permitting.
Allen started that.
You know what? I went to a game at Irving Schools Stadium, which is my old high school stadium, which is now Joy and Ralph Ellis Stadium. Neighbors of mine growing up in Irving, they're big philanthropists, and they gave a lot of money to Irving ISD. And so Southlake Carroll played Hebron, quarterback by Patrick Creighton. By the way, Patrick Creighton's son is a quarterback at Hebron. And now the running back, who was a wide receiver for Carroll, is Terry Glenn's son, Christian Glenn.
Yes.
And he had a good game. But anyway, it was like a trip down memory lane for me. The first football game I ever went to was at that stadium. My dad took me to watch Irving High School play. Alan Lowry was who later would become the special teams coach. He was on the staff when you were here. He was a quarterback at Irving High. This sentimental trip down memory lane for me, thinking about the first football. I may have mentioned this. The first football team I ever played for, 8 and under Irving YMCA, the Tigers. We won the championship game 42-0 on that field. So anyway, that was what I did on Black Friday. I went to that game, and it was really cool.
Well, I was out in the Bayou Classic Grambling got their butts kicked. Man, it was tough. Our quarterback came and hit a 5-yard out. Man, it's killing me. But, it was tough. But I was honored by G-Men Nation. They have different foundations on all these different schools. So G-Men Nation honored me just for work, job well done, whatever. Of course, they want to raise some money. You want to have a fundraiser. But went out there and had a good time. I gave a speech and gave a speech to the two guys that really gave me all the confidence that I had when I got at Grambling. Dwight Scales, you remember him playing with the Rams? Well, his baby brother's name is Jerry Gordon. That was my roommate at Grambling. And, of course, Mike Haynes, not the Mike Haynes. Everybody always gets it's just the Mike Haynes that I knew growing up at Grambling. Grew up in New Orleans. So we were all three thieves together at all times. So I gave them homage during my speech on having them, have my back all those years.
Was the game in New Orleans?
The game is always in New Orleans.
Come on now, Mickey.
Yeah, he should know.
I just wanted to make sure. You never know when things
you think
change.
we're going back to Tulane Stadium?
Yeah.
Old Tulane Stadium.
I almost was going to drive there, then I gave up on it going to the LSU game.
It's tough getting off in there, when it's a game, man. It's, Bourbon Street, French Quarters. It's just tough getting. You might as well just walk, or get an Uber or something.
Oh no, you got to walk.
Yeah, because the walk is great. So, no, we had a good time. Had a few tears after the speech was all said and done. A few other people were honored. Had a really good time.
Well, good. So we all took in get the weekend off, and we all took in football.
Yes, of course we did.
I didn't watch as much football as I could have yesterday because I had to get the lights out. I felt very good and comfortable considering we already had 2 wins under our belt for this past week. And to be able to watch football and not stress.
Watch everybody else stress.
Watch everybody else. I loved it. I even took a nap. So that's when you relax on a Sunday.
Well, speaking of that, going into the game, Cowboys at 5-7, there were teams not leading the division and basically not counting the teams that were in the hunt for playoff games, wild card. So you got to figure that Minnesota and Green Bay probably have the top 2 wild card things probably sewn up. But of the 5 teams or the 7 teams ahead of the Cowboys with better records, they went 5-2. So nobody really did the Cowboys any favors.
Yeah.
Because
Buccaneers pulled out.
If you look at it, Washington wins. They have the 3rd wild card, the 7th playoff seed right now at 8-5. And then
they got a bye week this week.
And then Tampa Bay won to move to 6-6.
Overtime. Yep.
Against Carolina.
Minnesota and Green Bay that were ahead both won.
Man.
The Rams won, San Francisco lost, and Arizona lost. So really didn't get much of a break. But again, the teams now ahead of the Cowboys, 8-5 Washington, 6-6 Tampa Bay, Minnesota 10-2, Green Bay 9-3, Arizona is 6-6. The Rams are 6-6, and San Francisco 5-7.
All right,
now.
so let me shed some light on this for you. The West teams, they just beat up each other.
Right.
Okay, so here's what the Cowboys have to do. All right, obviously the next 2 games.
Yes.
And then you got Tampa Bay. That's
right.
one of those teams.
Right.
That's not an NFC West team. You beat them, then you got the tiebreaker on them. So all you have to do is be even with them at the end of the day. And then Washington, the last game of the year, you got to beat them, and then you'll have the tiebreaker on them. So you'll have the tiebreaker on Washington and Tampa Bay if it came down to that scenario where you're tied with them. And with Washington with the bye week this week, Cowboys with a win this week will move back to within 2 games of Washington.
Correct.
So what you need is Washington to obviously you need help, but there is a path to that 7th playoff spot.
I was going to Do you have who Washington has to play?
I've got them right here. They've got, after this bye week, they play at New Orleans, Philadelphia at home, Atlanta at home, and at the Cowboys. Now, the Falcons have stumbled since they beat the Cowboys.
Yeah. So is San Francisco.
But New Orleans is revived since firing their coach.
They lost their first one, though, since. Yeah. And they're sitting there at 4-8. And I think I saw something. Taysom Hill got hurt again.
And that, we haven't talked about New Orleans any since. That is a huge reason why New Orleans went into a tailspin after. We saw how important he is to that New Orleans team when they played here.
Same thing with Carr at quarterback, too, by the way.
But it was like Taysom Hill, just the things that they can do offensively with him. That's an understated part of what they did. And they lost him in the Cowboy game, and then they went in a tailspin after that. So anyway, but you say he got hurt again?
I thought I saw a headline said
no,
something
he's out for the season.
Out.
Yes. So
see, and he got hurt, and Carr got hurt at the same time. So they lost him and playing a backup quarterback,
a rookie.
Yeah, and so they kind of went into that tailspin. Then 1-2 with the and they kept crediting the interim coach with the wins, and I'm going, no. Those two guys came back and played.
Well, it's kind of like with the Cowboys. Now, granted, Washington is obviously a good opponent, a road, but when you don't have Micah Parsons on your defense, it hurts, aside from the other injuries. And people didn't talk enough about, during the 5-game losing streak, how much they missed Micah.
And you can tell when he came back, things were different.
Right.
Which, by the way,
automatically.
Back to my page of notes.
And by the way, he didn't play a full number of plays, snaps.
The first couple of games.
Game back against Houston.
So since he's been back, 4 games, 5.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 11 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 20 quarterback pressures. 20. So when I compared Overshawn to his return, that helped Overshawn. Well, look at what he did, too, because teams had to pay attention to him. And they got Brandon Cooks back. Now, we'll see what happens on the offensive line if Zach Martin gets back.
And then Ferguson.
Brock Hoffman played well. Ferguson's been out the last couple games. You get Zach Martin back. Maybe you get Ferguson back. Marshawn Nealon came back, and then he missed the Thursday game, irritated his knee. And there's talk about DeMarcus Lawrence getting back into practice this week. But who knows if practicing means playing.
Right.
You may need another. We saw what happened with Brandon Cooks, looking like he was doing well in practice, and then he's not quite ready. And on top of that, they lose Josh Butler. Tore his ACL. That was heartbreaking.
That was tough.
He and Wanye Thomas.
Wanye's got a meniscus injury. He'll be out 2 to 3 weeks, it seems like. Could come back. But the Josh Butler one.
So now we need more cornerbacks.
Well, you got to hope Trayvon Diggs gets back.
Right.
I mean, they were out there the rest of that game with Jordan Lewis playing left corner and McQuamu, who got taken advantage of in the slot.
Yeah.
Because the other thing that's happened is Kalen Carson's gone on injury reserve, too, which happened before the
And you saw what they thought of Andrew Booth. They activated him
Elevated him from the practice squad.
And then made him one of the inactives.
So you're using one of your elevations. That was interesting.
Well, it
creative.
The only thing it cost them was
but it cost you an
money
elevation.
against the salary cap, because they got to pay him the or whatever the second-year minimum.
I mean,
it cost them that, but it also cost them an elevation, right?
Well, they did the elevation because of that.
Right.
They didn't want to deactivate somebody else that they needed, so they activated them to make them inactive.
But that you wouldn't use an elevation. Waist, you only get 3 elevations with a player.
I thought, yeah. But they don't want him to play.
So back to Diggs.
Yes.
He's going to play?
I don't know.
So if he doesn't play?
That's not good news. Because now they don't have Josh Butler to start.
We don't have any cornerbacks.
Well, you got to use Jordan Lewis out there, and then McQuamu's back in the slot.
And get Keemon Hall.
And Keemon Hall was playing
slot.
basically special teams.
Yeah. But he's more of a slot corner.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he got any defensive snaps.
I don't know.
He didn't. He got 23 special team snaps, which is quite a bit because they lost Josh Butler off special teams basically because he was starting.
So what did he do? He just took a bad step?
It was a collision on the sideline.
Okay.
And you saw him grab his knee.
Yes.
Immediately.
As he went down.
Yeah, because he never got a chance to go up for the ball.
Yeah.
So sad because he's
having the ball,
gets
man.
his opportunities, making the most of it, and playing well. And then back home, Thanksgiving, team captain, all that, and then he goes down.
Yep, that one's tough to deal with. But, yeah, Diggs needs to get back out there.
And be the first time that Diggs and Bland and Lewis are all together playing.
Which still hasn't happened.
Yep. All right, back with more Mick Shots in a moment. So they need to...
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle.
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
Capture a frame-worthy family holiday photo with Santa at the start, presented by the Monument Realty. Santa will be spreading holiday cheer at his Cowboys-themed cottage in the Star District from November 22nd through December 24th. For more information and to book your visit, head to, one word, thestardistrict.com/Santa.
Okay, since we haven't been able to talk together since the Thanksgiving Day game, anything else from the Thanksgiving weekend that was on your mind that you want? We're going to have a lot of time to talk about Cincinnati the rest of this week and so forth, but we need to wrap up this weekend. And anything, of course, Matt Eberflus was let go on Friday after that debacle at the end of the Bears Lions game on Thursday.
No, worse than the debacle, he tried to explain it away.
That's what got him fired. Just say it, dude. We blew it. But he kept saying there was the right call. We did everything right.
So what do you think they thought?
Here's what I think.
Do you think he was trying to steal an extra play?
No, I think it, and I don't want to put it on Caleb Williams, but it will sound like I am. I think he's got a rookie quarterback who, they have the communication up until they cut it off at 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. And I was looking at the play clock, looking back at it and trying to see, okay, when was the communication cut off? It came out to a certain point where, let's just say it was 15 seconds on the game clock. Mm-hmm. And so it's got to be the coach, when he sees it gets down to 10 seconds.
He's got to call.
And he sees him not doing the quarterback.
He was doing this stuff, trying to get guys lined up.
You got to call timeout.
Right.
And you just say, okay.
Just call it.
Abort it, okay?
The coach needs to call it.
And so it's definitely on Eberflus. But what I'm thinking as far as him not taking or basically saying that I think he's protecting his quarterback on the post game. Mm-hmm. And so that's why and I didn't listen to what he said, but I heard that he did not say that they made a mistake, whatever. And he felt like they had the plan in place as far as how they're going to handle that situation. Mm-hmm. Now, he needs to take ownership himself and say, hey, we should have called timeout with 10 seconds left when we saw we weren't getting the playoff in time. Right. But I think why he said what he said in the post game, he was protecting his quarterback who basically had made the mistake of not managing the time.
He's a rookie quarterback.
Exactly.
It's okay to make a mistake in this situation. Right. He's never been here before. This was his moment to
that's the only way that I can explain him.
He could be as a rookie.
That's the only way I can explain him, even the day after, which is crazy that they even had a press conference the day after with the coach when they fired him an hour later. That's the only way I can explain why he would have said what he said. I think he was protecting his quarterback.
And the other thing is maybe he'd seen his kicker hit the ball off the upright in pressure situations, and he's thinking, okay, we got to get a play, we got to score a touchdown. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And Eberflus is smarter than that. I mean, good guy, too. It's just, that was a shame.
He's being too good.
Yeah.
By trying to throw, but he's not trying to throw the quarterback on the bus.
I had a feeling they were.
It's okay if it's a rookie quarterback, then man, let's just go forward with it. Hey, man, I got your back. You go ahead and do what you got to say, but I'm going to take the blame, but I'm not going to take the blame in front of management.
I think Caleb in Caleb's post game, it sounded like he didn't know that they had a timeout left.
Oh, yes, I think I heard somebody point that out.
It sounded like in his post game that he did not realize they had a timeout left.
Well, see, but at that point, once that's admitted, then it's too late to try to hide things.
He was going to get fired anyway.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate thing.
Now
because
he gets to spend Christmas with his family and doesn't have to do this anymore.
And the other thing remember they fired the offensive coordinator. So they needed to hire that helped things out, right? It's like somebody I saw, read it today? Did Texas Tech clean house on offense or defense?
Defensive coordinator.
And the defensive coaches, they all got fired. It's like, okay. Mm-hmm. But I think Chicago was going to move on. I think they realized they've got to find a offensive coordinator that can take care of Caleb Williams.
They need to find offensive linemen.
They need to find a head coach.
Yeah, offensive linemen.
They need to find offensive linemen.
Exactly.
I don't care. Justin Fields, it doesn't matter. Justin or Caleb.
You want me to set the table for tomorrow? Cincinnati needs to find offensive linemen.
Well, not till after.
Most of the team, most of the teams that are struggling, that's the source of it. But the offensive line.
That poor kid's getting just killed back there.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know how he stays healthy.
Take it to my team in college. The issue is the offensive line has to be fixed. Georgia Tech game, did you watch it?
Yeah.
Most of it.
They got to do something about this overtime rule in college football. Oh, my God. You cannot decide a national champion. It's going to come down to, we're going to get into this college football playoff.
I had to get 2 more beers watching the game. Like, okay.
We're going to get into this college.
Hey, once it was over, I timed it just right.
We're going to get into this college football playoff, and it's going to come down to 2-point conversion tries to determine the national champion. Back and forth.
What's the record? What's the record?
Well, it's 8 now.
That was the record.
And that was from that game. And now Texas A&M and LSU, in the old rule, they played 7 overtimes. And that's when they decided we got to change it. And so now the first overtime, you can kick the extra point. Okay. The second overtime, you have to go for 2. And the third overtime and on, it's just 2-point tries back and forth.
So what do you want to change?
Just play football.
Yeah. You know
that's the same thing.
Well, you know what? In hockey.
How about the NFL rule? Where both teams get an opportunity with the ball, unless you score a touchdown or whatever on your first possession. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably, if you add up all the plays, they probably had more plays with the 2-point tries and the 8 overtime than what you would have in a normal overtime period.
Hockey, you screw it up and play skills in overtime during the regular season, right?
But they play hockey in the postseason.
But they play hockey in the postseason. Don't they? What happens in baseball with the ghost runner?
Do they put the ghost runner out there?
I thought they played extra innings in the postseason.
They may in the postseason. You know, because they changed theirs to put the ghost runner on at second base in extra innings in baseball in the regular season.
In the postseason, they do regular.
Regular baseball.
They go back to normal.
Postseason, they do regular.
Yeah.
And you don't see the NBA turn overtime into a 3-point shooting contest.
It already is that.
Well, it sure was last night.
I'm just saying.
That kid from Portland scored 24 points in the third quarter. I don't think he hit a basket. He hit maybe 8 threes.
Oh, man.
It was unbelievable.
Well, they're all still preseason games in the NBA right now. I mean, the regular season doesn't start until April.
But yeah, just play football. Don't turn it into a 2-point.
Right. I did hear a suggestion this morning, like for the college rule, is instead of starting at the 25-yard line, start at the 45-yard line.
Push it back.
Where you have to at least get a first down to get into field goal territory. And I would be more in favor of something like that.
Yeah, because something has to change. You're right.
That's right. All right. I think we're out of time unless you get something else you want to spout
I'm
off
good
about.
for tomorrow. We talk offensive line tomorrow.
Okay, we will. And how many snaps did Tyler Guyton get? 14 in that game?
Yeah, because Guyton got way too many.
No, Chuma got the rest of them.
I mean, Chuma got way too many. Sorry, Guyton.
You didn't walk out of the room.
You don't know what I was doing in the press box.
All right, we talked Chuma Edoga, and we'll get Mickey's opinion on the tackle situation tomorrow at high noon here on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?